Hello, my name is Robert Webb and I've written this funny memoir called How Not to Be a Boy, which is themed around masculinity and how boys are supposed to be boys and how that gender stuff affects some of us when we attempt to grow up. You'll get an idea of what I'm up to in the book if I show you the contents page. So because I think gender is made up, the book is in two acts, acting like a boy and acting like a man. I'll just do act one. So, chapter one, boys can't get enough of dad. I got the strong impression that I was supposed to prefer the company of my dad to my mum, which was tricky because he was a bit of a scary, shouty, boozy handful with a flexible attitude to monogamy, and that's why my mum divorced him when I was 5. I knew it was shameful to be a mummy's boy, but that's exactly what I was. 2. Boys aren't shy. I was almost completely mute at this point, but I understood that boys were supposed to be noisy and cheeky and boisterous. I had an imaginary gang of friends called the Guy Buys, and we used to go around fighting crime. I didn't want to play with real boys because they scared me arse-less. 3. Boys love sport. I was rubbish at all sports. I say in the book that communal showering is a fresh hell that concludes each games lesson, the way an awkward exchange of details concludes a car crash. 4. Boys are brave. Contains my thoughts on the performance given by Lewis Collins in the film Who Dares Wins, which I was able to watch twice on a 17-hour coach trip to the Costa Dorada. 5. Boys are never teachers' pet. Obviously, boys don't have any common sense, boys can't sit still, boys would rather be climbing a tree than reading a book, anything to avoid being called a girly swat. 6. Boys don't fall in love, brackets, with other boys. The only thing worse than being a girl was being a gay, so age 16, becoming sexually infatuated with my best friend was problematic. 7. Boys are not virgins. My best friend wouldn't get off with me and neither would any girls, despite my red and grey ski jacket, my jeans with pleats in, my thin white leather tie that I wore to parties, my savage impressions of Rick Astley. None of this worked on anyone and I found that baffling and upsetting. 8. Boys don't cry. A slight change of gear. By this time I'm 17 and I'm sorry to tell you that my mum died of cancer that year. I was lucky enough to have friends and family saying, look, if you need to talk, then just talk, I'm here. And I was grateful for the kindness, but I experienced it as pressure. Because if I learned anything from all this stuff, it was that boys don't cry. Boys don't express unwanted emotions. You shrug it off, you bottle it up. If it comes out at all, it comes out as anger. And that's what happened when I stopped being bad at acting like a boy and I started being even worse at acting like a man. How much worse, you can find out in the book. Thanks for listening.